back, my little nightmares. This is me, Queen Nightmare, and yeah, we're gonna read chapter 4 of what is it called? Erised potion, right? I have a bad memory. I'm sorry. Let me see. Erised effect. Sorry, but it is a potion technically. So. Now that we're on chapter 4, jeez. No, yeah, 4. It was a disclaimer at first. I was like, 5? No, 4. Blaze likes to tie them up. Woo, boy. Hold on. Okay. Have you caught him looking at your thighs yet? Oh my gosh, Pansy! Yes, my friend is like this, but not, she doesn't push it. Best friends don't push it. And I'm guessing she isn't her best friend. Pansy asked her from over the top of the till as she cashed up for the day? You mean literally closed up for the day. Hermione gave her a suspicious look, automatically not liking the direction that this conversation was heading. Only once or twice, she admitted, cautiously, wiping the stimulation gel down with a cloth and polish. Barely noticed, to be honest. Pansy thought out loud. Hermione could tell that she really wanted to tell her something, but Hermione would have to fully indulge her to find out what it was. Interesting. Hermione rolled her eyes. Go on, spit it out. I know you're incapable of holding your own piss. Pansy chuckled. Oh, it's nothing, she answered coyly. It's just... Oh, okay, good. I thought that was in the first, a minute. I was like, that ain't worth it. Okay. It's just something he likes to do in the moment when he's thinking about whether or not he could fit in between your legs. Hermione turned to her friend. Oh, she is her friend. I thought they were just colleagues because she keeps on calling her a cow. I mean, I do call my friend a bitch, but I mean in a loving way. I guess she means cow in a loving way, too. But not in the moment. Hermione turned to her friend with wide eyes. Excuse me? He was looking at your thighs to decide whether or not he can fit in between them. Pansy repeated with a smirk. He wants to make sure he'll be able to take him, all of him. Hermione suppressed an involuntary shudder and polished the shelves vigorously, trying to expel the images of Malfoy sizing up her thighs in order to spread them and lay his torso in between, forcing her thighs wide. Yikes, my dude. It's not that I'm against sex. No one talks like this to their friend for 50 minutes about sex. I mean, I talk to my friend about 10 minutes of sex and that's it. Maybe not even that long. And that's it. Because they know about it and I don't. I think he likes the feeling, Pansy continued, much to Hermione's dismay. He likes the idea that you're so tight that he can't move while he's inside of you. That's why he keeps looking at your thighs. You're petite, and he knows how good it will feel for him and you. I think it's all a myth, Hermione told her, matter-of-factly, trying to shift the conversation. I've not felt anything, and I think you're making it up. There was a small smile on her face as she baited the other witch. Oh, you'll wish I was making it up, Granger, she answered seriously. Hermione gulped. He's not letting you feel it on purpose. Pansy bit her lip mischievously. I wouldn't want to scare you off by pulling you up against it straight away. I bet he was very particular about which part of his thigh he had you press up against. Hermione let out a breath and glared at Pansy. Stop giving me your facts, Pansy, she told the witch with a sigh. Even if that was what she was doing, he's not made any sort of move to even touch her properly. It's even if that was what he was doing, he's not made any sort of move to even touch me properly. It's never going to happen. Pansy raised an eyebrow at her dubiously from her place at the till. Oh, please. And last Friday night was nothing, was it? He touched you, didn't he? Hermione's heart fluttered at the memory. Hardly. It was a grasp of the hip, nothing more. Pansy huffed. What have I told you? She asked impatiently, rolling up a stack of till receipts. Pansy doesn't touch without permission. The fact that he even touched you like that without asking says a lot. He lost his self-control. Hermione rolled her eyes. And don't even get me started on the running commentary in your ear. Hermione blushed silently at the moment. Slightly at the moment. The memory! Okay. Hermione blushed slightly at the memory. The things he said to her, they had affected her a lot since last Friday. Constantly running the words over in her head. She was already anticipating being in his home again this coming Friday. He had her on a knife's edge at the moment, and she knew that he wanted to keep her that way. Draco loves dirty talk, but he keeps it for inside the bedroom. He's not an exhibitionist. Pansy, it continued casually. He wanted to test your reaction to him, wanted to see what you'd do. Oh, he's got such a bad craving for you. He never does this. Doesn't do what? Pansy asked curiously. Hermione asked curiously, having absolutely no idea where Pansy was going with this. You stepped into her trap when you said that. Oh my gosh, no, honey. Had no idea where Pansy was going with this. She never had a clue where Pansy was going with most things if she was honest. Plants seeds, Granger. Pansy told her excitedly. Usually, if Draco likes you, then you just know. And then he waits, because he knows you'll go to him. Pansy's eyes darkened with a hungry emotion. Why the fuck aren't you fucking him? Pansy! Do you still have a crush on him? Hello? But he's not doing that with you. He's cautious. Like he's trying to edge the reaction out of you. He needs to make sure you're within his reach. Hermione looked at Pansy. My reaction? She asked. I was a puddle of hot mess on the floor, just from him standing behind me. Never mind. He knew. Pansy told her gleefully. He must have sensed your body language, or he wouldn't have bothered moving forward with you. Pansy snorted. Oh my gosh, there's too many women in this thing. It's only two, but still. Hermione snorted. Forward? We've not moved anywhere. We're in exactly the same place that we've been in for months, Pansy. The black-haired witch shook her head. You have no idea, Granger. No, Hermione honestly had no idea. The man was so complex and dark, it made her crave him all the more, especially the look in his eyes as she left on Friday night. It felt like a promise of things to come. To talk to you like that in a room full of people, knowing that someone might see or hear. Pansy sucked in a breath. Wow, he's honestly thought about fucking you a lot. Hermione's jaw fell open. He got low into your ear, didn't he? Oh, wait, no. He got low into your ear, didn't he? She asked gleefully. He says all the right things to get your knickers wet, Granger. But he'll be so much worse than that when he gets you into the bed. She smiled. The things he'll say will have you finishing without him even without touching you. Hermione bit her lip and looked away from her friend, trying to concentrate on her cleaning. Did you look at him? Pansy asked her curiously, while he stood behind you, next to your ear. Did you look at him? Hermione nodded. Once or twice, mostly while he was watching Theo and Luna. Pansy's eyes widened deliciously. Oh, shit. Granger, you're fucked. If I'm being honest, I'm like this with my friends. Well, that's what she was secretly hoping for, but why? She asked curiously, not being able to help herself. Draco likes to know that you're looking, even when you know you shouldn't, Pansy teased. Like last Friday, for example, Pansy continued. You were watching something incredibly erotic, and yet you couldn't help but chance a glance in his direction. He would have felt it. Pansy smiled widely, deviously. He knew what the words he was saying to you were affecting you. He was enjoying turning you on, making you want him, seeing nothing but him. Hermione let out a breath. He's almost got you where he wants you, Pansy told her. Almost? Hermione asked, feeling her heart rate increase at the thought. Oh, Granger. Pansy's eyes shone devilishly. He's nowhere near done with you yet. Salutations, ladies and gents! Theo's voice boomed in the room as he made his presence from the fireplace flew into Draco's flat known. Where the frick did that come from? Now, where's that big blonde birthday-having bastard? He asked, rubbing his hands together and looking around the room. I've got him a gift, a big wet smooch with his name on it. Touch me and I'll chop your nuts off with a blunt knife, came Draco's voice from the living room door as he scowled and walked away into the kitchen. Draco had canceled the pub that evening, opting instead to mope around on his own in regarding to his impending birthday. Hermione wasn't sure why he hated his birthday so much, but it must have been something unsettling to cause him to want to spend it alone every year. But Pansy will not be waylaid, and instead of everyone meeting at the pub, she decided to cancel the pub for frivolities and opted instead to tell everyone to just meet at Draco's instead, which had left him highly disgruntled. "Well done, Theodore," Blaise sighed. Take us bloody ages to get him out of one of his little sulks. Then you appear, and it takes you less than 20 seconds to make him go into another one." "What can I say?" he asked, raising his arms and shoulders. "I have a gift." Theo took his coat off and settled it into the back of the armchair. "What's up with with his lordship? Got his knickers in a knot?" What's got his knickers in a knot? This is what I say sometimes too. And people's like, "What's knickers?" I'm like, "Panties. Your undies." "He doesn't do birthdays, does he?" Pansy quoted in a deep voice as she mimicked Draco. "You know what he's like? Highly doubtful. He wanted any of us here tonight to help him celebrate." She cast an eye over to Hermione. "Well, some of us were more welcome than others, I think. Anyway." Hermione put her head down and drank her wine. One of my other favorite lines I always say. "Well, tough titties," Theo answered, grabbing a tumbler full of whiskey. Oh, tumblers are the... I'll put a picture of it, but it's a, it's kind of one of those box-shaped, really expensive. They could be made out of crystal. Is that what it is? I think that's what a tumbler is. That's what I think it was. Because I've seen them in a lot of movies. But going on. Sitting in the armchair. I plan on having lots of drinks, enjoying a good peography. I'm not saying the real word because I'll be demonetized. Filled fantasy, and then falling asleep happily sated with my thing in my hand. "Theodore!" Hermione chastised him. "So crude." He shrugged. "Not arst," he told her casually. "You all got to enjoy the show last week and fill your smutty little socks with my anecdotes. My turn to enjoy myself this week. If you think you're going to fall asleep in my flat with your thing in your hand, you'll have to think again, mate." Draco was back in the room, his large presence looming in his living room doorway again. "I'd have to burn the bed sheets after you slept on them." "Exactly how many bedrooms do you have in this flat, Draco?" Pansy asked him as she sat cross-legged on the living room floor with her bag, taking out the mirror for the Erised effect. "Because I'm all for sharing a bed, but I'm not comfortable with waking up to morning wood." She turned and glared at Theo, who was just about to suggest that he would be more than happy to bunk up with her. 3, Draco answered as he sauntered slowly in the room. Hermione dared herself not to look at him. "You and Granger are more than welcome to share my king. I'll take the couch, and you others can fight amongst yourselves for the other 2 doubles." "Shotgun!" Theo shouted, hand up in the air. Blaze rolled his eyes. Can't call shotgun on a bed, mate. Not the rules. He turned to Draco. Can we transfigure 2 singles instead? He watched Draco shrug. Nice one. Don't fancy sharing with someone with a chest hairier than mine. So me and Granger are sharing? And Pansy asked, looking at Draco. Ooh, to be a fly on that wall. Theo interjected wistfully. Draco nodded and took a sip of his whiskey. Up to you, but the offer is still there. The couch might give me a stiff neck in the morning, but nothing beats a stiff thing from waking up next to the sight of 2 lovely ladies snuggled in together. Theo winked at Draco, tipping his drink at him. You're missing out, mate. Imagine waking up to the view of that view on your birthday. Draco fixed him with a dark, threatening look and gulped down his whiskey. Hermione's cheeks glowed pink, and Pansy shook her head in disgust. Theodore, not the tone lower, please, she berated before ignoring him and picking up the mirror. Anyway, before we can celebrate Draco's impending birth age properly, we have the little matter of a potion to drink and a fantasy to watch. All 3 men, yet to have their turn, swiftly looked away from her, taking large mouthfuls of their drink. Maybe let them have a few drinks first, Pansy, Hermione offered, seeing the discomfort on their faces. Draco's in particular. Let us all loosen up a bit before we go there. Pansy huffed, but gave in. Fine. We'll all get drunk, sing happy birthday to Draco, and then make him show you exactly what he'd preferably like to spend his special day doing. Pansy's lips twisted into the most ferocious smirk. Hermione heard a noise from Draco's direction. She couldn't help but look over. It was a small movement, but Hermione caught the end of it. Just as he was biting down slightly on his knuckles, as if he was trying really hard not to let out a noise escape from the back of his throat. He saw her looking and caught her eye. She panicked slightly and bit her lip instead of losing eye contact. His eyes automatically darted to her lip, darkening momentarily. Her tongue stuck out to lick her lip. I thought she was going to do this. Sexy, and then... Then again, I'm a child, and that would be funny to me. Ruin the moment, hon. Ruin the moment, and then it would be perfect. He closed his eyes, and he watched her take in a small, steady breath. Let's get our drunk on, then, Blaze announced as Hermione's eyes reverted to him, pouring more drinks for everyone. Think I'm going to need to be absolutely shit-faced to deal with what the next few hours entails. When Hermione looked back at Draco, he had his back to her, talking about Quidditch with Harry. It would be a good few hours before he looked at her again. 3 hours later, Hermione was tipsy. Not the type where she started gushing and crying over everything that Pansy did, but the type that left you with a happy feeling and slightly more confidence than you usually would. It left her laughing at Theo's lewd jokes more than she would, and allowing herself to casually glance at Draco's in Malfoy's direction slightly more than she was used to. She didn't miss the small looks she got. She didn't miss the small looks she got in return, though. When he thought she wasn't looking. She never usually noticed at all if he looked at her, as he was so subtle, which led her to believe that he was either drunk enough to not care that she could catch him, or he wanted her to know. He wanted her to feel his eyes pouring into her. He never looked her in the eye, though, no matter how much he tried to catch her. Right, we're nearing midnight. Right, we're nearing... I think I got... yeah, tipsy. Right, we're nearing midnight, Pansy said in a businesslike voice from her place on the couch next to Harry as they shared drinks and talked together in quiet voices. Shall we get the show on the road? Because otherwise I'll be falling asleep halfway through, and something tells me we won't be getting an interval. How do we decide who goes next? Harry asked, looking rather anxious. Fuck it, I'll go. Blaze stood up and stretched himself, already having a skinful of alcohol, and therefore far more for it than he was previously. You're going to see all my dirty laundry being aired eventually anyways. Might as well do it while I'm intoxicated. I mean, what a sport. I mean, yeah, same. Hermione watched as there was a flurry of activity. Blaze pulled the pink vial from his pocket as Pansy brought his mirror out of her little pocket. Harry and Theo gathered around Blaze as he sat there on the chair in the middle of the room, just like Theo did, and Hermione found herself moving closer. She saw Draco move to the armchair just behind Blaze and sit down in it, completely filling the space. I'll sit this one out, mate, he told Blaze as he sipped his whiskey. Spare myself the agony of what everyone else is about to witness. She felt his gaze on her momentarily before he looked at his glass intently. Here, Hermione. Pansy put the mirror into her hands. Oh shit, that's right, it's hers. No! I'm feeling the pain. And not in a good way. I don't know what that sentence was. Pansy put the mirror into her hands and she let the cool glass vibrating between her fingers, slightly, just itching to be. The hell? Hold on. No, I'm gonna reply to it later. Just get through this. Pansy pulled down the little footstool she had been using last week, right in front of Blaze's chair and directly in Draco's eyeline, who sat behind him. Her throat went dry slightly at the fact that Malfoy was going to be able to see her expressions, her blushes, her intakes of breath. Oh gosh, even see her thighs clenching together if she became really aroused. You're all welcome, by the way. Before we start, Blaze announced, holding the vial to his lips. You might all actually learn something. And then his lips were around the vial and he was knocking the liquid back into his mouth. Shot. Sorry. Pansy instructed Hermione to do what she had done with Theo. Take Blaze's finger and then press your own with her own down upon the mirror. She felt the mirror warm and start to buzz a little more. Its magic starting to work as the blacks of Blaze's eyes went pink. Oh no. Oh, the torture is gonna happen. The flash appeared, making them all wince. Before the mirror tuned into something straight away. What looked like a hotel room. No! Oh, I thought it was Theo. I'm sorry, that was really loud. I was starting to panic. You know, I'm kind of shaking. Literally. Why isn't it bouncing around like mine did? Theo whispered curiously as the vision of Blaze and a currently unidentified woman came closer into focus. Because Blaze knows what he wants, came Draco's voice from opposite of her, and Hermione couldn't help but look up at him. He was looking straight at her, his expression unwavering. He was going to watch her. Oh, shit. Hermione heard Harry breathe in from just her left above her. Is that Ginny? Oh, hell no. I would be like, do I have to hold this the entire time? I'll be like, I'll go over by Draco. I don't care if he harasses me. I just want to go by Draco. No. Mm-mm. Oh, I'm so glad that Ron isn't in this friend group. Oh my gosh, would it be the end of the frickin' world? Hermione's eyes widened when the girl came into focus properly. Then the fantasy image on screen sprang to life properly, sucking them in as if compelled to watch without tearing their eyes away. As only moment was his chest rising and falling, his hands on his thighs, clasping the cloth of his pants as if trying not to reach for her. He inhaled deeply, nostrils flaring. She closed her eyes. Look at me. She opened her eyes. Get over here. Oh boy. His eyes roamed over her. You are glorious, but I think you need a lesson in going and doing as you're told. Oh. I'm getting goosebumps. Sorry, I had a yawn. He stood. Sit. She sat in his chair. He knelt in front of her. Oh my gosh, no! I'm closing my legs. Spread your legs. What? You heard me. Do as I told. Do as you're told, or I won't let you I won't let you finish. She didn't move. Now, Ginny. Her legs dropped open a bit. Oh my god. She's like me. Bitch. No way in hell. You have to put a diamond between my knees. This is how it's going to stay for a while. And I'm probably going to hurt my muscles. He bent his dark haired, contrasting with her pale skin. His mouth was hot and wet on her knee. Okay. His lips trailed upwards as he spread her legs further apart. Making room. No way are you touching my legs. Making room for his large shoulders. His hot breath wafted over her core, caressing her, heating her. Her head dropped against the chair. She closed her eyes, feeling nothing but him. His hands, rough and strong, holding her legs hard. Oh, sweet mother. His shirt, soft and gentle, gently scraping against the sensitive skin of her inner thigh. Ouch. Bitch. That's when you slap someone. You went, His mouth inches away from where she needed it. Oh, so beautiful. His fingers skimmed across it, soft and fleeting. Oh gosh. And fucking A. You're doing it for the fans. You're doing it for the fans. And wet, so wet for me. You like being my plaything, don't you? Her hips arched toward him. He chuckles. She moaned as he stroked her. No one has gotten this detailed. Oh my god. We got this. I won't cry. His firm fingers, harder and better, but not enough. He teased her thingy, never touching her there or inside, never going where she wanted him. His fingers stopped resting lightly on her mound. What the fuck is that? I'm at this point, I'm going to get giggly and I don't like it. Because I'm uncomfortable. Answer me. What? She leaned up looking... She got up, leaning forward, looking at him. She hadn't been paying attention. Neither have I, apparently. I asked if you liked being my plaything. His tone was firm, but there was humor mixed with desire in his eyes. Yes, she... Oh, fuck. Hell. And Ginny's ex is in there, and he's like, that's the thing. Like, I think Harry Potter's gay anyway. I thought Blaise was gay. Or he was going to have a really sexual image of Hermione. That was what I was thinking was going to happen, but nope. I smiled, teased her thing. She liked this very much. He grabbed her legs and pulled her forward until her ass was almost hanging off the chair. That's better. He kissed her inner thigh, first one and then the other, before putting them over his shoulder. Oh, boy. He just going straight in there. Ginny meowed. Okay. As his fingers started working their magic, rubbing and caressing her, making her... I've heard of this before, but I didn't think this would be in one of these. Making her bum hum. If you don't know... her body hum. Okay, sorry, I thought it said bum hum. I've heard of it before, and I was just like, what the fuck is that? I still don't know what it is, but yeah. Her head fell back. Her hips rolled with his fingers, following his touch. How do you taste amazing? I mean, I don't eat a lot of fruit, and I should. I need a balanced diet soon, so. Sorry. My gag reflex. You taste amazing. He ran his tongue along the crease. Rough and wet and hot. Say my name, Ginny. I want to hear you scream it. Blade. Oh, fuck. Oh, gosh. I suppose that'll work, too. He buried his face in her thing, licking and sucking and teasing and stroking. It was too much. Her hands clasped the arms of the chair and then somehow made it to his head, clinging to him as he tongue-effed her. His large hands cupped her ass, holding her like an offering for him to feast upon. Oh, jeez. Who is the writer? Wow. Shit. Just the image of Blaze between Ginny's legs like that had her face flushed and breathing again, going deeper. She was well aware that her pupils were probably dilated, and she knew that Draco could see everything. She could feel his eyes staring at her intently, never moving them away from her face or her body, as she sat there watching two people F each other. Look at me. His voice. It's like Freddy the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Look at me. No, dude, you're gross now. I'd rather have Super Freddy, and Super Freddy sucks. Look at me. His voice rumbled through her, and she leaned up. Or she leaned forward. That was all it took. One sight, her legs spread all over her large shoulders, still covered in his white work shirt, his dark head buried between her thighs as his tongue slid in and out of her, while his finger rubbed her upper part. Her body tensed. Oh, gosh. She finished, her hips rocking and her legs clasping his head. Her hands tangled in his hair. Blaze pulled Ginny's thighs from his shoulders, kissing one and then the other before putting them down and sitting back on his feet. Gosh, she was sweet and so effing eager. He wiped his face with his sleeve and she was limp on the chair. Well, yeah. Her hair a riotous mess of curls around her, and her face and chest flushed from her finishing. You liked that, didn't you? Hermione jumped slightly when Draco's voice appeared in her mind. As clear as bell, she looked around, expecting to find him back over her shoulder, but no. He was still sat languidly in his chair, still looking at her. He was still animo sermo, a telepathic spell commonly used between Aurors who need to speak to each other without being noticed but during raids and arrests. Oh gosh. Hermione didn't dare use it herself, though. She didn't know how to control it properly, so it only stayed on the telepathies of one person. You like the flush of her body when she convulsed as she finished. You liked the little noises she made and the way Blaze knelt between her legs, didn't you? Hermione couldn't look up. Her breathing was too heavy, and she knew her eyes would give it away. Nod for yes, Granger. He practically growled, and she felt the hairs stand up on the back of her neck. Feeling brave, probably still from the alcohol, she nodded slowly. So slowly that it was barely visible, but she knew he had seen it. Good. Keep watching. Don't look up at me. His voice was low. I should punish you for finishing. What? Her eyes fluttered open as she lifted her head. But I haven't told you that about that little rule. Uh-oh. There's rules? I would, why is there rules? He should have gone over all of them, but he hadn't, but had been waiting to have her for too long. Instead, I'll just fuck you. Shit. I guess so. Yes, please. She closed her eyes, relaxing back in her chair. He couldn't help it. He laughed. Oh, don't think you'll be a languid participant. Uh-oh. He leaned over her, letting her feel how much bigger he was than her, how much at his mercy she was, when in reality he wouldn't do anything she didn't want and wouldn't like. It's like a guy who's huge and looks menacing, but he's actually a giant, like a really, really gentle giant. Wouldn't dream of it. She stared up at him, her hazel eyes. Wait, she had hazel? I thought it was more of a brown. Okay. Hazel eyes filled with sparks of green and gold. Now it's your turn. Better effing be. Oh. Mr. Bossy. His mouth came down on hers. Okay. She was so giving and willing. She opened immediately and let him ravage her. She wrapped her arms around his thighs. Huh? Pressing against his... Oh. He moaned in her ear. Oh. Cool. He had to have her, but he wanted her eager for him, not just willing to let him use her body to rut his way to finishing. He pulled away and she didn't fight him. Not like this. Not like what? She asked, confused, and that was perfect. Like this. He picked her up, turned her around, and she was kneeling in front of the chair. He pressed on her back. What are you doing? She struggled against him. He had her attention now. You'll see. She stopped struggling and let him lower her until her face rested on the cushion. He adjusted her legs so they were spread wide, her white butt an offering to him. What the fuck? Oh, I feel dirty. You'll see. She stopped, okay, what? He yeah, whatever. Yes, just like this. His hand caressed down her spine to her voluptuous rear. Fuck, he was going to explode. Oh my gosh, dude, just do it. Just get it over with. Hermione swallowed thickly and blinked at the sultry images on the screen. Blaise currently liked to dabble with dominance. He liked to be in control of a situation. Hermione couldn't help but feel hot under the collar as she watched them both, completely indulged. Little touches, like I said, Granger. She heard his voice again, but didn't look up, keeping her eyes on the mirror. The little touches turned into the bigger, bruising ones. Well, he doesn't mean, like, abuse. I'm just... He's probably thinking about hickeys or something like that. They take the subtle moans and turn them into screams that leave your voice box sore. He inhaled and it sent a shiver down her spine at the sound. And if you're partially, sometimes a hand on your throat can cause the sensation to make an orgasm harder. Hermione felt the heat pool between her legs at his words. Blaise, I'm not sure about this. The quiver in her voice made it clear that she was uncomfortable. Trust me, you like this. What the fuck are you doing? She moaned. Okay. You're wet again, aren't you? You can feel the ache, the emptiness inside you, waiting for my thing, can't you? Her body trembled and she nodded. Say it, Weasley. I need to hear the words. Yes, what? She turned, trying to see him. He grinned against her ear. She had no idea what he wanted her to say. Are you wet for me? Yes, always. She whispered. Do you ache? His finger traveled between her thighs to her thing, tapping her. Do you ache here for me? Oh, she keened. Say it. He moved his hand away. Yes, oh gosh. Say it. All of it. I can't talk like that. The scarlet hue of her embarrassment was traveling from her cheeks and toward her shoulders. You can and you will. He ran his fingers over her thing, teasing, I'm hungry, teasing with light caresses and then pressing down until her ass wiggled against him. He couldn't help it. He shifted, so she rubbed against his thing. Fuck, that feels good. Yes, she gasped as she pushed against his hand. If he didn't watch it, she'd finish again. He slowed, his fingers teasing her thing. Friggin' A. Do you see the power in his frame, Granger? The way he tells her what he's going to do to her, the way he submits to her, gives him what he wants. Draco's gravelly voice came into her senses again, his own breathing sounding as low as her own. Hermione nodded again, slow and subtle. You like the idea of that, don't you? Submitting, when you're naturally someone who has to be in control. I can see it on your face. Hermione closed her eyes for a second. Keep them open, Granger. I want to watch your expression and the blacks of your eyes when he fucks her. I want to watch you and your thighs clench because you need to relieve the pressure between your legs. I want to watch you bite your bottom lip between your teeth as you imagine it's you who's being effed to within an inch of your life. She drew a breath and had to clench her thighs. The image he provoked her had her thinking of only one person she had fantasized between her legs for the past 2 years. There was only him who could scratch that itch for her. She was suddenly feeling so desperate. Who do you think of, Granger? He had a husky tone, obviously affected by watching her, being turned on by the power of his words. Who gets you off when you're right on the edge? Who do you finish for? She almost looked at him, but shook her head slightly, and she heard him chuckle darkly. I think I know. Say it, little girl. Tell me what you want. Tell me what what you want me to do to you. Please, Blaze, please. She wiggled her butt more, and he groaned. Take me, F me, do it. His jaw clenched as he forced himself sit back on his feet to leave that haven of warmth and softness, that hot piece of heaven calling to him. That's not good enough. What? She started to sit up, but he put his hand on her back, holding her in place. Stay. He took off his tie. I want to hear the words, Ginny. He grabbed her waist and pulled them behind wrists and pulled them behind her back. Blaze, what are you doing? She was trying to see her over her shoulder. Tying you up. He wrapped the tie around her wrists in an intricate knot, dragging out the process of it because it may make her that much more turned on. Tying me up? No, you can't do that. Yes, I can. He secured the restraint. How's that feel? He knew he knew she felt helpless and turned on. He kissed her neck and hit his mouth, his hot and wet mouth, and then he nipped at her, I'm trying to convince myself that I'm teaching things, but I don't think I can teach anything about this. She gasped, but his tongue soothed the sting, making her melt. How does this feel? It's fine, not too tight. She shifted forward a little, her thing pressed against the chair. He was taking too long. She needed something, anything to touch her down there. Nice. That wasn't what I was asking this time, but I think your actions tell me all I need to know. He grabbed her hips, moving her away from the chair. No. He wrapped her hair around his hand, pulling up on her hair. Please. She was helpless. He had all the power, all the control. She stopped her movements. Good. He let go of her hair, gently pushing her head back on the chair. I'm going to take off my shirt now. The voice was rich and dark and delicious. I could go for some dark chocolate right now. Not no. I like dark chocolate, the chocolate, not men. Jeez, disgusting. That would be gross. Yes, she breathed. That's it, Jenny. Talk to me. He shredded his shirt. He shredded his shirt and he shed his shirt. Sorry. He knew that she was more than happy with the look of him. He walked towards her again and grabbed her thighs, spreading her legs wider before kneeling between them. But we need to go over the rules. Then you'd better behave, or I'll have you over my knees. Ooh, honey. No. Yes, please. She wiggled, rubbing against him. She was on edge. She needed to finish. The correct answer is thank you. He swatted her again. This time she gasped, but it wasn't from the pain. That slap had made her thing clench. Oh my gosh. Sending pleasure shooting through her body. You like that, don't you? She bit her lip. Answer me, Ginny. Yes. She closed her eyes. Good girl. He leaned over her. Now you get a little reward. His hand skimmed over her abdomen, and his fingers stroked her. I love how wet and full you are. I'm laughing because this is too much. Like, someone watched porn and all the scenarios in porn, and they were like, make a story, and this is pretty much what it is. It's just cringy. Up the ass. But I like cringy sometimes, because then I can laugh at myself for doing stupid shit. Okay. Good girl. He leaned... Oh, wait. Yeah. I love how wet and full you are. How ready for me. He slid a finger inside her. Okay. Her body clenched around him, but she needed more than his figure. You like that he calls her a good girl, don't you? Hermione's eyes went wide, and she didn't know where to put her face as embarrassment flushed her features. I can see your eyes change every time he says it. His voice was like a purr. Have you ever been called a good girl? While your head's thrown back with a man's head between your legs, you've finally been given permission to finish, Granger? Oh, good effing gosh. Say it. Tell me you want this. Yes, please. Say the words. She's making me mad, and I'm not even him. I'm not even doing her. I'm just mad because she won't say the damn words. I mean, you said everything else. You're in the embarrassing position, but you won't say it. Yes, please. She more than wanted this. She needed this. Say the words. He slid another finger inside her and continued stroking. Yes, please, make love to me. His finger stilled. He chuckled. Do you love me, Weasley? Ooh! When did we get into this? Oh, no. Why'd he stop? Like, does he not love her? Or is he just, like, wanting to do her? Or what? Are they a thing in their personal time? What? She hadn't realized what she had said. That's not... There's no way you do. But you want me. He began to move his finger again, and sparks flew behind her eyes. So, call it what it is. You want me to fuck you. He slid another finger inside her. He was a large man, and his fingers fit him. 3 of him was, oh my gosh, stretching her in the best way possible. Oh, say it. She sucked in her breath. Say it or I'll stop. His fingers stilled, buried deep inside her. You can't, I haven't come. I haven't finished. You didn't hear that. But I can do that without you. Or I can make you suck me off. Shove my thing in that pretty pink mouth of yours and face fuck you. Basically what it is. Oh, she moved her hips, clenching, as his unmoving fingers find her own release. Oh! His words were crass, dirty, and gosh help her, She was finishing again. Oh my gosh! There, please, right there. Oh, no, you don't. He withdrew his hand and sat back on his feet. You don't get to finish until I say so. She moaned. Please. She trembled on the chair, her body so tight with need, she almost cried. That's a start. He stood. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with these alpha males, you know? They're beta males, but they call them alpha males. That's pretty much what he is. No, Draco's an alpha male. An alpha male don't call themselves alpha males. They just have to show it. Hermione's breathing was labored at the thought of Ginny's finishing being delayed. The idea of someone having the type of control making that decision. I can edge a woman for hours and leave her right on the cusp of finishing, Granger. She felt her heartbeat speed up and glanced at him from the top of her eyeline. Still sitting casually and drinking his whiskey, seemingly unaffected from what she could tell. But his words and his tone told her different. You can just hang there, feeling nothing but teeth and tongue, fingers and lips, but won't need to feel a thing until the very last second, till your walls start to quake. Jeez. I mean, can we Blaze just do her quickly and we want to see Draco's fantasy. I want to see his. Hold on, I'm curious now. Hermione felt a shot of electricity buried deep inside of her core. She sucked in a deep breath that no one else would have been able to see. But his eyes were tailored to her body, and she heard him inside of her head taking a deep breath himself. I gulped because, I know you can feel that between your legs, Granger. I know you're wondering why, but what I am saying and the way that I am saying it is affecting you so much. She pursed her lips at this word. You like to be seduced by words. You like how words make you feel. The right ones can turn you on. Dude, I'm going to say this. If a guy's all talk, then it's not satisfying. Can you stop talking me into a stupor? Just, dude, get it on with. She let out a low breath and went back to the mirror. She was on her knees, her face resting on the chair of his large chair. Her hair a tumble of curls, hanging around her head and shoulders. Her wrists were bound behind her back, her legs spread wide. You are effing fit. He could just finish looking at her, stroking himself to completion, spending on her body. No, maybe later, but this time he needed to be inside her. He strode over to her and unzipped his pants. Her back arched at the sound. She was as eager for his thing as he was to give it to her. Or are you ready to do what I told you? I don't think about this, little girl. He let his pants drop and kicked them aside. I can finish with or without you. You're every man's wet dream. Bond and bent, waiting for me, wet for me. He moved between her legs and knelt. So, either tell me you want me to fuck you, that you want my thing shoved so deep inside you that you won't be able to walk for a week. Or I'll finish on your back. She spread her butt cheeks and he spread her butt cheeks and placed his thing between them, his hips thrusting on their own at the softness and heat of her body. Oh, you feel good. He moved his thing between her legs, sliding it across her thing, teasing her himself. Yes, please, Blaze. She was wet, hot, and slick with desire. Say it. He either needed to get inside her soon, or he'd finish on her back, and he wanted to feel her wrap around him, milking him until there was nothing left. He shifted so the stroke of his thing bumped against her other thing. Say it or I'll stop. Oh yes, please fuck me, Blaze. Please. I want your thing inside me now. She meowed. I don't know what that is. I need to look that up. Into the chair. Fuck. Those words in her soft voice made his balls tighten and his thing twitch. He pulled back and she moaned. I said it. Please don't stop, she moaned. Please, now. She wiggled and squirmed, rubbing against him. He positioned himself at her opening and slid inside her, giving her time to adjust to his girth. Oh, jeez. You feel so effing good. He pushed in a little more. It was heaven, tight, wet and hot. Oh, her face was flushed and she was panting. Look at the expression on her face. She's desperate for release. Her legs are shaking as much as she tells him she doesn't want the restraint. She's still getting off on it. He purred as she wet her lips. And when he fills her, all of that pressure will deepen, and she'll beg him until he's pounding into her. She needs that. She needs to feel him pulsating inside of her. What is this? It's like a club full of perverts. That should be my club. You okay? He stopped, his chest heaving. He wanted to shove all the way inside and F her until he came. No. No. You can't get back into heaven. So, no. Sorry, if you haven't seen Hell of a Boss, you wouldn't get that joke. But, until he finished. But he had to make this good for her. But the look on her face right now, it wasn't good. You're big. Yikes! Oh, dear lordy. Oh, I'm sorry, God. I don't mean it like that. Oh, Zeus. The love of Zeus and Hera. Ugh. Yeah, and you'll love it. He bent, kissing her neck. Just give me a moment. His teeth grinding together as he forced himself to pull almost all the way out. His spine spasmed, yeah. And he swore if his penis could talk, it'd be screaming obscenities at him for messing him around like this. He slowly pushed back into her body before retreating again. He repeated the motion over and over again, going no further than the first time. Relax, darling. I sound like the guy from Originals. What was his name? Elisha? Whatever, the half-brother of the Originals. Sorry. I was not a big fan of Elisha, as you can tell. He was a dick. So was Stefan. I didn't like Stefan either. Whoops, I think I went up. Oh, yep, I did. Oh my gosh, I went up. Relax, darling. He skimmed his hand up and down her back. It was torture and bliss, heaven and hell, but he had to keep going. He had to make it good for her. That's it. He almost wept when she started moving with him. Oh gosh. Why? Why would you weep? Weep is what it is, but he almost wept. Why would he weep over that? He shoved in a little deeper. This time she gasped, but her body clung to him as he withdrew. You like that, don't you? Yes. Her eyes were closed and her lips parted, a soft rosy flush covering her cheeks. Ginny. I try to say Ginny and then I say Jenny and I'm like, shit. Ginny. She was so tight and it felt so right. Rhyme now. He continued his slow thrusting, each time going a little deeper, until he was finally in all the way. You okay? She nodded. He bent down and she gasped as his thing repositioned inside of her. Tell me when you're ready. You can finish. No, love. Wait, what? Who was going where? Tell me when you're ready. You can finish. No, love, he whispered. You belong to me, and this is how it works. I take care of you, then you take care of me. I'm fine. A voice was shaky. She was far from fine. He kissed her ear. I don't want you to be fine. I want you to be hot. And in the mood. I'm not saying that word. Begging for my thing. Her face flushed and he felt her tighten around his thing. You like it when I talk like that, don't you? He gave a tentative thrust. Yes. It was a whisper, but yes, she did. You also like my thing stuffed inside of your tight thing. Can't say both words on the internet because then I would be age restricted. Yes. You liked my tongue in your thing too, didn't you? He thrust it again and she moaned, but it was a sound of pleasure. He closed his eyes. Soon, she'd be ready for effing. What? What do you call this? A warm-up? Well, darn it. I made sense of something that was just... Yes, she clenched around him as he withdrew. Are you ready to F, Ginny? You are aching for me to F you so hard, you shatter into a million pieces. Yes, please. She was rocking with him, following his lead. Thank gosh. He straightened and she gasped, but it turned into a moan as he slid against all the way out and then thrust back inside of her until Yeah, he was balls deep. Damn it! I'm trying to make sense of this, and when I say it, I'm like, that's gross. How dare you say provocative things like that? I'm gross, and I know it, and I don't care. Her muscles tightened around his thing as he shoved against her. You wanted to be effed hard, didn't you? Yes. It was half plea and half a moan. Say it. He grabbed her chin and lifted her head. I want the words. F me, Blaze. Please. F me and make me scream. Damn. She really into him. Shit. He almost finished right then and there. But instead, he let go of her chin and grabbed her hips, holding her in place while he slid into her over and over again. Her body tightened around him, clasping onto his thing. Did you hear the things he said to her, Hermione? She gulped and turned and tried to ignore the aching need between her legs. The things he had her imagine. People loved the power of words, almost as powerful as the sex itself. She liked that he said to her because it was dark and depraved and intoxicating. He knows she wants it, even if she can't admit it out loud. Hermione heard his breathing in her ears and felt like she was losing it herself. Deep down, everyone wants it dirty. Deep down, everyone wants it dirty. They want the talk, the naughty little things in between the fucking. Even you, Granger. He gritted his teeth, trying to hold back his release, but her moans weren't helping. They had turned into one long, keening sound of pleasure. She was almost there. He could feel trembles coursing through her, but he couldn't wait. He waited too long. Look at me, Granger. She saw the outline of him in her vision as her eyes started to look up. The visions in the mirror had her head spinning, along with the words he kept purring into her ears. Now, Ginny, finish for me, now. He slapped her butt as he shoved inside her, pumping into her as roughly that the chair scratched along the hotel floor. Granger, do it. The voice was raspy and deep. Look at me now. He was demanding, clear in his instruction. He wasn't taking her shyness as an answer. She saw him, her vision swimming as the ache between her legs almost exploded. Her pupils were blown wide, with the need for something, for him and his words. He was sat there, casually leaning back in his armchair, but then she saw his eyes. She screamed, her body bucking and squeezing him. His balls tightened and his back stiffened as his hips thrust forward, and still he finished. He dropped on top of her, his things twitching and spurting inside of her. Fuck, Ginny, yes. Draco Malfoy's eyes were blown wide, and his chest was heaving. His face held a stormy expression as his eyes bore right into hers, with his much intensity that it made her core twinge with so much unspoken need and sexual tension. Fuck, Granger. You're beautiful when you're on the edge. No! Bitch! there's an app. Okay. I don't care. Happy Tune. I know I want to do this, but hold on. I was in the middle of something. Son of a biscuit. It's not working. Uh-oh. My Wattpad broke. Son of a biscuit. Thank you. What the hell is this? What story is this? Oh, grown-up sleepover. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking up for this one. And all the way to the end. Okay. Fuck, Granger, you're beautiful. You're beautiful when you're on the edge. He bit his lip as he said it in her mind. And his eyes raked down her body, momentarily settling again at her thighs. He was looking at your thighs to decide whether or not he can fit in between them, Pansy repeated with a smirk. He wants to make sure you'll be able to take him, all of him. Hermione let her eyes wander, never having done so before, but feeling compelled to, as they lowered down and meet his groin region. She felt her thighs tense up. Fuck. He was going to effing kill her. Okay. Well, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm ending it here, and that was only one chapter, so if I did another chapter, it would be around 2 hours and 52 minutes, and that won't be good. So, we just finished the beanies, finally. Jeez, we only have Harry's left. Oh, gosh. Hopefully it's a gay one, because I don't like straight sex, to be honest with you. That's why I read Blairon, Snary. I can handle that shit, but I can't handle this. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you really liked this one. I kind of did. I kind of confused. I know it gets very graphic, but it's kind of a good story if you actually think about it. If you minus all the sexual stuff. Which is a good story because she likes Draco, but the problem is that, yeah, he has a big penis, but whatever. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you want to see me do next. Or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. Just be you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and put on push notifications because you're notified every time I post. And, what was it that I was going to say? Oh, I know. Just screw it. Let's just do it. Thank you to my subscribers that, if you're a future subscriber, thank you in the future. And thank you to my subscribers today. But I want to say this. I would like to hear from you guys more about different stories you actually like. Just don't recommend sad stories. Anyways, be happy, be healthy, and always be loving. Bye-bye.